and welcome to Wilderness Wanderers. I'm Kat.
And I'm Kevin. Today we want to talk about basic hiking terms. People have told us that are new to hiking that sometimes they don't recognize the terminology that we use.
So let's begin with some basic terms that we've recently used on our hikes. Number one, the trailhead. The trailhead is literally pretty much what it says. It is the beginning of the trail. It is usually marked with the name of the trail. It will generally have some information about the trail, maybe a notice board, and the requirement for permits. So it is really the head of the trail where the trail starts.
Right, the next one is the wilderness. Wilderness areas exist in many national and state parks, as well as the national forest. These are areas that are protected against any kind of future form of human influence. They don't allow any cars or roads or bikes or anything mechanical. There's only trails. And if there was roads, they're abandoned.
The next one we want to cover is the out and back trail. So we've talked a lot about on our beginners hiking trails of an out and back. So an out and back is literally where you start at point A, you go to point B for a specified amount of miles, and then you come back to point A. So you go out and back on the exact same trail. You don't go anywhere else.
Right. Okay, so the next one is a loop trail. Loop trail is just like an out and back. It goes out to a specific point, but instead of coming back the same way, it just continues on around and circles back to the point where you started.
Right. And those are usually found around beds of water like lakes or marshes or kind of points of interest. Yeah,
right. Like we went to one that was to an old mine.
Right, and we went all the way around this loop. It was absolutely fabulous. So was that Lost Horse Mine, was that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Our next basic term is the point to point. A point to point hike is very, very similar to an out and back, only you go from point A to point B. Most of the time to the point to point, you're going to want either two vehicles, so you drop your vehicle at actually the ending point and then drive back to the beginning point, start your hike and walk to your other vehicle, or you can always have somebody pick you up. We haven't done a point to point as yet. Maybe we'll try one of those in the future.
Hopefully on the Pacific Crest Trail, that's what I'm looking at.
Oh, the next one is switchbacks. Instead of going directly up a mountain, which is obviously very steep, it's like a zigzag pattern, and you basically go and you switch back on yourselves. It's a way of protecting the mountain and the wilderness, because trails that go directly up and down a mountain, they don't stay nice for very long. They get very easily eroded. So switchbacks are a way of preserving the wilderness and helping hikers get up a steep mountain on a gentle gradient. So that's a switchback.
Our next one is day hike. It's pretty simple. That just means you're going to go out for the day and come back the same day. So a lot of the hikes that we do day hikes. You can do a day hike and out and back, you can do a day hike on a loop trail, or you can even do a day hike from a point to point.
Right. And a day hike, we generally take our smaller packs. They are called day packs. You don't need as much equipment, but we always recommend, even for a day hike, that you take the 10 essentials, which we're going to show you right now, that you should always have with you when you're backpacking or
That's
hiking.
True. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you should take when you're backpacking. In fact, the last time we went backpacking, we did a day hike too. So we did both at the same time.
Yeah, we went for 2 nights, but one of those days in between, we actually just did day packing, and I didn't have to carry a pack at all.
Mm-hmm. And one of the 10 essentials that we needed that day was a headlamp.
We'll cover that in our another video. Next one is, overnight. So an overnight backpacking trip. Overnight backpacking trips take a lot more time, they take a lot more planning, and you generally need a lot more equipment. Bigger packs, obviously you need a tent, you need permits. They generally carry a little more risk because you are overnight, you are in the wilderness. So overnight backpacking does come with a little bit more risk, takes a lot more planning, and you do tend to carry a lot more equipment.
But don't be afraid of overnight backpacking. If you've car camped, you pretty much got it down. You got your sleeping bag, you got your something to sleep on, a mat, and a tent, or if you have a trailer, that's always good to have. But it's not that hard.
We've enjoyed it, definitely.
All right, the next thing is wilderness camping. Wilderness camping is not the same as going to an established campsite. There's no numbered sites. Sometimes you might just see a flat area where people have cleared it and stacked some logs to keep the wind down a little bit when they're there. But usually there's no amenities.
No.
There's no toilets or piped water or any kind of facilities. So there's no improvements to the camp.
Right, usually flat, and you're generally not alone. At this point, we were going to discuss trail etiquette, as you can see by the card. However, we realised that's a video all by itself, so click the link in the description to take you to our trail etiquette video. We hope you've enjoyed this video on basic hiking terms. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video and click on that bell. From Kat and Kev, your wilderness wanderers, we'll see you on the trails.